We've all seen the incredible demos, right? AI that can summarize 1,000 documents, write code, even talk to a customer. The promise is absolutely enormous. But as we start moving these systems from a flashy demo into the actual core of our business, a really critical question pops up. What are the hidden dangers lurking just beneath that powerful surface? Because let me tell you, moving from demo to deployment means you're confronting a whole new class of risk.
And that, right there, brings us to the core question for any leader who's deploying AI today. You know it's powerful, you've seen the potential, but can you actually trust it? Is it secure? Is it accurate? Is it safe for your customers and for your brand? Because in the enterprise, reliability isn't just some nice-to-have feature, it's the entire foundation.
You know, the gap between that impressive demo and a truly production-ready system, well, we call that the production gap. And this image here just perfectly illustrates the point. It's not just one thing. We're talking about a whole landscape of risks. You've got identity and access, robustness against attacks, knowledge accuracy, and performance at scale. Getting this wrong doesn't just mean the AI fails. It can create serious business, security, and frankly, reputational damage.
So, how do we start closing that gap? Well, we have to begin with the AI's source of knowledge. For most enterprise systems today, this is something called a Retrieval Augmented Generation Pipeline, or RAG for short. The easiest way to think of it is as the AI's own private library and the process it uses to read the books. Here's basically how it works. When you ask a question, the system first retrieves relevant information from your company's knowledge base. You know, your documents, your data. Then the AI uses that specific information to generate a grounded answer. The quality of that final answer depends entirely on how well both of those steps worked. If it retrieves the wrong info, you're going to get a wrong answer. Simple as that. So the crucial thing here is we have to measure the health of this whole pipeline. We can translate these pretty technical metrics into simple business questions. Context precision is really just asking, did we pull the right files from the cabinet? Faithfulness asks, is the summary our AI wrote actually supported by the facts in those files, or is it just making things up? And indexing freshness. This one is critical. Is our AI using today's sales figures, or is it working off of last quarter's old data? Okay, so now let's move to the next level of complexity, because we're not just building AIs that answer questions anymore. No way. We are building AI agents. These are systems that can perform tasks, use software, and take actions on our behalf. They don't just talk, they do. This is truly the most effective way to think about it. I mean, you would never hire an employee without checking their skills, their judgment, and giving them really clear rules, right? The exact same discipline has to apply to your AI agents. You have to rigorously test and verify their capabilities and their trustworthiness before you let them anywhere near your systems or your customers. And an agent's job can be pretty complex. We need to evaluate its ability to complete a task from start to finish. We have to check its planning and its reasoning. And what's really interesting here is this idea of tool calling. That's when the AI needs to use another application, like booking a calendar invite or querying a database. Did it pick the right tool? Did it use it correctly? A failure here isn't just a bad answer, it's a broken business process. This brings us to what is perhaps the most critical area of all, safety. Once an AI can act, you absolutely must have guardrails in place to control its behavior and ensure it operates within the boundaries you've set. This is all about managing risk at its most fundamental level. And we face a dual challenge here. On one hand, like you see on the left, we need behavioral guardrails. We've got to prevent toxic output, detect harmful requests, and mitigate bias. But on the other hand, shown on the right, we have a classic cybersecurity problem, identity and access. We have to prevent the AI from leaking credentials or trying to access data it has no business seeing. We can make these risks really concrete by tracking specific metrics. So are we measuring our PII leakage rate to see how often it might expose sensitive customer data? What's our jailbreak resistance rate against people trying to attack the system? Are we monitoring for unauthorized access attempts? And crucially, are we actively scoring our AI for racial, gender, or political bias to ensure fairness and compliance? These are the numbers that really matter.
Now you might be thinking, wow, that's a lot to track. Well, the reality is, across all the categories we've just talked about, from RAG quality to agent safety to performance, there are over 150 distinct evaluation dimensions that need to be tested for a truly enterprise-grade AI system. The scale of this challenge is just immense.
So, how can any leader possibly manage this level of complexity without getting completely lost in the data? Well, you do it the same way you manage every other critical function in your business, with clear, insightful dashboards.
It's a classic business saying for a reason. If you're deploying AI but not systematically measuring its quality, safety, and performance, you aren't managing it. You're just hoping for the best. You're flying blind.
A high-level dashboard like this one gives you that mission control view. In just seconds, you can see top-line metrics on things like accuracy and truthfulness. But more importantly, you get a clear, color-coded assessment of overall quality and risk. Here, it's plain to see. Quality is poor and risk is high. That's an immediate, actionable insight.
But a good dashboard doesn't just stop there. It lets you drill down. Now, what's really great about this is you can go from that high-level warning right to a root cause analysis. You can see the exact percentage of answers that are hallucinated versus actually grounded in fact. You can see the top issues are things like noisy retrieval and poor retrieval. This is how you move from knowing there's a problem to actually fixing it.
So I'll just leave you with this final thought. Your business runs on dashboards for finance, for sales, for operations. AI is now every bit as critical. So the real question isn't if you need an AI dashboard, it's